Have you ever watched a movie that was so super bad that you reached for your remote and you were about to turn the movie off, and then all of a sudden it got really good and you got so engrossed in it that you couldn't turn your eyes away for the rest of the movie? That perfectly describes the Doctor Who 50th Anniversary Special. Now, you have to keep in mind, I have been watching Doctor Who since Tom Baker was the Doctor. Okay, my brother was the one who introduced me to this. And I even watched the movie in which Sylvester McCoy regenerated into Paul McGann. Now, Sylvester McCoy was the 7th Doctor, and Paul McGann was the 8th Doctor. Which means that this John Hurt was between Paul McGann and Christopher Eccleston. And you know what that means? That means that John Hurt was the 9th Doctor, Christopher Eccleston was the 10th, and of course, David Tennant was the 11th, and that would make Matt Smith the 12th, and this next Doctor being the 13th and final Doctor. That's how that one works. Okay, so, what was so horrible about the first part of this little epic that they presented to us? Okay, they just kind of threw in the Zygon and said, here we are, and they really didn't do much with them. And I thought that was horrible. It's like, you got to be kidding me. You just got to suddenly throw the Zygons in and not do hardly anything with them. That was stupid. However, once we got past the Zygons, then things got interesting. Really interesting. You had the 3 Doctors, you had David Tennant, you had Matt Smith, you had, of course, John Hurt, and it made it really, really interesting. Okay? But the best part of the whole movie came at the very end when a special guest came on. And I'm not going to tell you who came on, but at the end, a special guest came on, and that just blew it all away. I could not believe that that person showed up at the end of that masterpiece. Really. So, that's what made the whole thing worth it. Really. That was the best thing they could have done. Even throwing Billy Piper in there did not make this. It was when that special guest showed up at the very end, that's what made the Doctor Who episode a masterpiece. And I hope they do things like that more often. Really, that just made the whole show. So, considering the fact that this thing had a terrible beginning, it was one of the best endings they could have ever had. Really. They did a wonderful job, and I applaud them for that. I just hope they get their beginnings a little bit better from now on, because I almost turned this thing off. And I would have been really sorry if I had. Alright, this is Ted the Speed Learner signing off. I will tell you more in a future video. Stay tuned.